Delay. This is the first time I'm giving this webinar, so I'm not used to this tool. So today we are going to talk about KMCapGemini's Continual Improvement Index, which is basically a scorecard which measures the performance of certain parameters, which include the knowledge management and continual improvements in KMCapGemini. So in order to start off, we will first give a brief history about how our team is structured, which will also help in understanding why this particular scorecard exists and how it came into being. So in 2014, there were a number of subgroups within the quality team in KMCapGemini, or erstwhile iGate. One of these teams was knowledge management, okay, and there was another team called continual improvements team. There are obviously more subgroups within the quality team, but we will specifically focus on these two teams, and I will explain the reasons for them. Now, the continual improvements team had developed an improvement framework and tools called iEvolve. Okay, essentially the whole idea was to have continual improvement programs using tools like Kaizen, Green Belt, Black Belt, TRIZ, and all these frameworks to achieve improvements within the different teams in the company. Okay, they used to consult teams to do these improvements, and then obviously capture the improvements being done and what were the benefits and outcomes of these improvements, and then report the performances. Okay, knowledge management being a separate team used to focus on obviously the knowledge management aspects. They used to have take care of the knowledge management portal where most of the knowledge sharing transactions and interactions used to take place. And in terms of measuring the effectiveness of KM, we used to do knowledge management health audits and have a scorecard called the Composite Knowledge Management Index. These basically used to capture how many documents are being uploaded, how many people are attending certain knowledge sharing sessions, how many people are conducting knowledge sharing sessions, what are the kind of queries and transactions happening on discussion forums. So all of these things used to get recorded, and based on these data points, we used to come up with a score for knowledge management, and that score was called the Composite Knowledge Management Index. All of this was in 2014, okay, and the main focus at this time was to improve the culture within the organization, the culture of focusing on continual improvements, the culture of knowledge sharing, creating documents, uploading them. So it was a lot about culture and behavior at this point. Now in 2015, though our strategy tended to remain the same, we made certain tactical improvements in the way we do things. So these two teams were merged and became the Delivery Excellence team, which still remains under the quality team. Now, the reason for doing this, there are a number of reasons. First of all, both these teams have a number of similarities. They focus on tweaking the culture and behavior in the organization so that they start thinking about continual improvements. They start thinking about knowledge sharing. So there was that cultural organizational change management kind of work about these two teams, plus the outcomes. The outcomes for both these teams would be about improving the way project teams and delivery teams work and help them continuously do better in what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. And all of it obviously was focused on achieving excellence, hence the name Delivery Excellence. The other thing is also we wanted to, I mean, this is not the main reason for doing the restructuring, but the idea was that we should also have a consolidation of the reports and scorecards that the quality team as a whole releases. Okay, so earlier, because we had more subgroups, we had a lot more reports and scorecards. Now with this consolidation, we have fewer reports and scorecards, which will be much more manageable and understandable by our internal customers, which is basically the delivery teams at Capgemini. Okay, so again, a lot of the work that both these teams do remains the same. Okay, plus with the addition of certain things like customer satisfaction surveys, which got introduced, at the project level and the account level, and coming up with the insights from that as well. Now, all of this was now focused on achieving outcomes. So when earlier we were focused on culture and ensuring, people are using the processes, they are understanding the tools, and engaging and transacting. Now the focus was that what are the outcomes that we are achieving from all of this, and hence we came up with the Continual Improvement Index. So it is an evolution of the reports that we had before in 2014. So now the Continual Improvement Index, also funnily called CII in Capgemini, is an indicator of the continual improvements, knowledge management, sharing and collaboration, all of which are focused on driving excellence within the different business units that we have in Capgemini. Okay, these are primarily split up into two types of metrics. One is the engagement metrics, and the other is the outcomes metrics. So the engagement focuses on the transactions that are being done, the activities that are being done to achieve an outcome. Okay, and the outcome obviously is the benefit that a person or a team would get because they have participated in those engagement activities. And both of these combined would give you a score called the Continual Improvement Index. So what is a part of the engagement metrics? As I said, these are the activities that one would do. So for continual improvements, it would be how many improvement projects have you implemented in your team. Okay, it would include from a knowledge management perspective, how many knowledge artifacts have you created and shared with the organization. How many sessions, knowledge sharing sessions have you conducted as a part of communities of practice, or being recognized as an expert, how many queries have you answered. So it is more focused on these aspects, these transactions that you would do in terms of knowledge sharing. Now, as I said, when you do an improvement project or you conduct a session, you share a document, you read a document, there is a certain outcome that is expected. It should help you in some way. So that is where the outcomes metrics comes in. So what are the benefits that you're getting from participating in continual improvements in KM? That's the outcome metrics. So here also we have a number of parameters, one of which is called internal group value add. Sorry for that. These are the hard dollar benefits that you get from the improvements that you have, improvement projects that you have executed. These are specifically the value adds that the internal group, that means KMCapGemini, gets a benefit from. Okay, so this could be margin improvements, new revenue, avoidance of certain penalties. All of this would be a part of internal group value add. Then we have customer value add. Now, in some cases, the improvements that we would do would benefit the customer as well. It would help them save certain costs, or primarily save certain costs or avoid certain penalties. Okay, so these are the customer value adds. Then there are the effort savings. So these effort savings are notional savings. We have not necessarily saved any hard dollars, but we have perhaps made our lives easier. The project team and the delivery teams have achieved certain efficiencies which make it easier for them to execute that project, right? You use lesser time, even though it may not necessarily affect the financials. Okay, so these are the notional hours that are saved. And in a similar way, when you do the knowledge sharing activities, the benefits from that would also have certain notional effort savings, because you've learned something, you learned to automate something, and that would help you save efforts, maybe not direct financial benefits. Okay, so these are the outcomes metrics. Now you can see that there is 40% and 60% weightage that are given to these two matrices. So as I said, since we had that tactical change, we wanted to give more importance to the outcomes from these activities. That is why we are giving a 60% weightage to the outcomes metrics and 40% to engagement. So the more you achieve in terms of benefits, the more impact that will have on your score. Now I will talk about what are the specific engagement parameters that we have in CII, or the Continual Improvement Index. One is the number of improvements that you have closed in a particular time frame. We usually take the calendar year for every business unit. Okay, and we set targets for every business unit. So this is typically in terms of a certain number of improvements per 100 employees. Okay, how did we come up with that certain number? I've put XX here, but essentially we have come up with a number of 13. 13 improvements per 100 employees. This is based on the past data, as as I showed that even in 2014 we were tracking all of these activities. So we do have an idea of how much we were doing, plus by certain benchmarks we are through our research that we have done, we have realized that 13 is a good number for any organization. Definitely some organizations do better. Some organizations that have a very robust improvements culture may do a lot more. But overall, considering other players in this industry, 13 was that number that we came up with. Okay. Now this has a weightage of 20%. So as I said, we have a target. Every BU would have its own target because the size of the business unit would be different, and based on how much you achieve, you would get a score. If you achieve that target number for your BU, that means, you know, your score, you would have an achievement of 100%. And since the weightage is 20 for this parameter, your score would be 20 from this parameter, right? And that, in a similar way, for all the other parameters, you would simply add those numbers up and get an entire score. So it's very simple math here. There is no complexity there. Okay, and what we have done here is we have capped the score. So suppose if 13 per 100 is your target and you have achieved 15 or 20 or more, you will not be getting more than that score of 20. Now again, all of this really based on your organization and what you want to achieve. You can play around with these numbers, with these cappings, with these weightages, to do what is right for your company. This is just you know, what we have been doing based on our past experience and where we want to go in the future. That's how we've kind of tweaked this. Okay, the second parameter in the engagement metrics is the contribution of knowledge assets. So how many knowledge assets are you creating and sharing with the organization? So we are talking about specific knowledge artifacts, not everything. Case studies, white papers, capability decks, all of these things that can help in either improving our ability to win new contracts or showcase the good work that we are doing to clients, artifacts that will help us find productivity improvements in our projects. All of these kind of artifacts, these specific kind of artifacts, which we have categorized, is what we will count here. Not every artifact that is uploaded onto the KM portal or whatever sites that we have. So again, here we are being specific about what, because based on what is uploaded, the outcomes from that will also, you know, be specific. Okay. Now, again, as I said, we have set targets for every business unit for this parameter as well. We used to record this data, and hence we were able to baseline and benchmark from past performance. And based on that, again, we came up with a certain number, you know, certain number of assets per 100 employees. So here in our organization, that number is 40. So 40 artifacts per 100 people. Okay. And here the weightage is 10%, and again the score is capped. So if you achieve more than 40 per 100, your score will not go beyond 10. Now the third parameter here is the collaboration index. Okay. Again, these focus on the tacit knowledge part, where interaction between people is what is measured here. So interactions through community. Sorry, I don't know if I lost some audio connection there. Okay, I will continue my presentation. Okay, so as I was saying, the third parameter in engagement metrics was collaboration index, which specifically focuses on the the activities or the transactions related to the tacit knowledge sharing through expert locators, discussion forums, communities of practice. And again, this is has a weightage of 10, and the score is capped at, so you cannot get a score more than 10. Okay, so engagement metrics is at 40% weightage, which means a 40 score is the max that you can achieve here. Now, moving on to the outcomes parameters. There are 4 outcome parameters here, and the combined weightage here is 60%. As I said, because we want to focus more on the outcomes, the achievements of the engagement activities that we did earlier. Okay, one is the internal group value add. So benefits of the improvement initiatives that we do that have hard dollar savings, so financial impact to the organization, and these the financial impact has to be approved by the business finance manager for that particular BU in order for it to be considered here. Okay, so we want to have that approval that yes, this has had an impact on the finances of the project for it to be a part of the IGVA. Okay, now how for this also every business unit needs to have a target so that they know, so that they have some goal to achieve for the year. So what we have done very simply here is that we have taken a certain percentage of the revenues that a business unit is earning. So if a business unit is earning $1 million in a year, we are saying that about 2% of that revenue should be your target for this IGVA. Okay, so 2% of 1 million, I believe, is 20,000. So $20,000 of savings you need to show in this current year. So that is how we come up with the target. Okay, now the rationale why we chose 2%, I'll just get to that once I talk about the CVA, or the customer value add. Now the customer value add again is on similar lines to the IGVA, but these are hard dollar savings for our customers. Now here obviously getting an approval from their finance team is difficult. So what we basically want is an approval from the customer that yes, this dollar savings on that we have helped them achieve is valid and can be recorded. This is basically how we get that approval from them. And again, how this works is that we thought that if we achieve around 5% of savings combined from IGV and CVA of the revenue that we earn, that a business unit earns, that would be a good number for IGVA CVA targets. Okay, now again, this number, if you have data, you can go for 10% or less than 5%. In 2015, it was the first time we did it. We took a number of 5%. We managed to achieve. So this year we might be going, we were not able to achieve that high target of 5%. So we are thinking of tweaking it and maybe lowering that target. Now, again, in every organization, you can do it slightly differently. Your numbers can be different. Your ways of validating whether the savings is real or no can also be different. And accordingly, you can play around with these numbers. Okay. The weightage for both of this is 17.5%. Okay, which is a total of, I believe, 35. Okay, and for outcomes metrics now, we are allowing a little bit overachievement to have an impact on the score. Obviously, because the more you achieve, it's always good, and we want to encourage that. Hence, we are allowing overachievement here. So if you achieve 100%, if your target was, let's say, $20,000 of saving, and you achieve that 20 in the year, so your score would be 17.5, because that is the weightage, right? If you achieve more than that, obviously your score should go up, but we have capped it at 150% of overachievement. So you can achieve 150% of your target, which till that point it will impact your score. Your score will improve. Beyond that, your scores will not improve. Okay, we just put that cap there. And the same thing for CVA. Now moving ahead, we also wanted to capture the benefits from all the knowledge management activities. Now here we have stuck to the notional effort savings, because getting hard dollar savings from knowledge management was very, the approvals were very difficult to justify. So we thought of sticking to the notional hours saving. So when somebody is reusing a knowledge artifact, that is when they would benefit from knowledge sharing, and hence that is specifically what we focused on. So we set up a mechanism where the participants in any knowledge sharing activity can give their feedback and share what was the savings that they achieved in terms of effort savings that they achieved because they participated in something. Okay, again, these were tracked earlier as well, and again we have come up with a target for every BU, an XX amount per 100 employees. In this case it is 400 hours per 100 employees in 1 year. The weightage for this is 15%, and again 150% overachievement is allowed, and hence the score is capped beyond a certain limit. Now, even for improvements, when we talk about benefits from iEvolves, not all of it results in hard dollar savings. Some of it is just effort savings, which may not have resulted in any financial gain for the organization. So this has also been captured. Hence, it has slightly lower weightage because it does not have that hard impact on the organization. So that is why it has a 10% weightage, and the score is capped again for 150%. Now again, over here, because we've been collecting this data for a number of years, we were able to do an internal baseline, and then we came up with a certain number here. That number is around 2,600 hours per 100 employees. So moving ahead, we will focus a bit on the outcomes metrics, because I think the engagement metrics is fairly simple to understand, but for the outcomes metrics, we wanted to spend a bit of time. Okay, I won't take too long here. So the hard dollar savings for the internal group value add, okay, essentially focuses on any cost reduction, margin improvements. We may have saved certain costs for licenses, or we may have increased our billability because of the improvements that we've done. All of this will help us achieve the IGVAs. Okay, so all of this, again, as I said, has to be approved by the business finance manager. Okay, moving ahead to the customer value add. Okay, here again, hard dollar benefits would essentially be a cost benefit to the customer, something that our improvement has helped the customer save cost. Okay, the customer may have saved certain license costs which they were earlier paying, or our improvements have resulted in reduction in their costs in terms of other hardware or whatever, those kind of costs that that our improvements have enabled. Okay. So again, as I said here, primarily the focus will be on getting a approval from the customer that this is acceptable, these figures that you have quoted are accurate, and then we take that ahead for our scoring. Okay, and obviously this will also have an impact on our customer satisfaction, or it should have an impact on our customer satisfaction as well. Okay, for the project team value add, or what we call the benefits from iEvolve being our continual improvement framework. These are just the notional hours saved. So this has not really resulted in any financial benefit, because maybe the hours savings, per improvement might be small, and to convert that into a dollar savings and getting all the approvals and all of that is really not viable, or because of the reduction in or the efforts saved do not really mean like a reduced billability for the client or an improvement for our organization in terms of financials. So this has been kept here. So for this, there is no approval required. Whatever improvement is done, it goes through the whole process where the Six Sigma experts and Lean experts, they validate the improvement project and say that yes, this has actually happened. We have the data points to suggest that such savings have occurred, and based on that, we take that as an approval of the numbers that are being shared here. And lastly, for the benefits from KM perspective, as I said, it is primarily based on reuse. Okay, there could be productivity improvements because of certain reuse of certain artifacts or knowledge assets, which could be even utilities and components that you could reuse in your organization. Okay, certain learnings from different projects or past projects could help you improve your productivity. Okay, there could be increased opportunities with our clients, because we are able to showcase the good work that we have done in that account or in other similar accounts that give our clients the confidence of giving us extra business. And again, it helps in enhancements of skills, it helps in reducing onboarding time of new employees, and a lot of other process efficiencies that come in just because you have a good knowledge management framework, your known error databases, and those kind of best practices related to KM. All of this is what really, the benefits from all of this is what is captured here in benefits from KM and reuse. So what we have essentially been doing is, for every business unit that we have, we would report these scores on a monthly basis. So the business unit can track what are the target for a specific month, what is expected by the end of the year, and how the business unit is heading towards that goal. Okay, so the targets are set yearly and then split into various months, and accordingly it is tracked on a regular basis. And what we have also done is that for the different business units, we have showcased how each business unit is doing compared to others. So obviously some business units do better and some not so much, and it creates that environment, that friendly competition between business units that also drive this that drive this culture and kind of push these business units to achieve obviously their outcomes and then showcase it to us as well, and showcase it to the organization as well. So this competition also helps in ensuring that that culture is constantly changing and it's being nurtured on a regular basis. So that's how the scoring also helps with that. So that leads me to the end of our presentation. I hope I explained things clearly. If there are any questions, we can take those questions now.